Here's the truth. You're talking about transferable skills all wrong. The truth is that you already have them. You don't have to go get them. You don't have to go find them. You already have them. But you need to be able to better articulate the transferable skills you have to stand out to existing employers. I'm Ashley. I'm the lead mentor with Mentor Me. And today I'm going to talk to you about the transferable skills that you already have that employers are looking for in their highest paid and highest impacted employees, and how you can position yourself as an expert using the skills that you already have. Today we're going to talk about 4 or 5 specific skills that many high achieving professional women already have, right? These aren't things that you have to go out and get. You don't need another credential. You don't need another degree. You don't need another skill set. But I do want to talk to you about the way in which you are speaking to your existing skills, speaking to your existing expertise in a way that can actually help you connect with employers in a meaningful way. And this is really critical, particularly if you're a professional woman who has 5 to 7 or 10 years of experience, right? You already have the skills. You already have the years of experience. Often you already have the degrees, the credential, the certifications that prove that you can do this work, but it's your ability to speak to the work and speak to that expertise where you're really faltering. And today we're going to address that gap of skill articulation, that gap of being able to speak to your expertise so that you can move your career forward. And this is really important because I think that oftentimes the world is telling women that you're not enough, that you don't have enough, that you're not enough, that you can't do enough. The skills, knowledge, talent, expertise that you already have simply won't help you advance in a meaningful way. But that's a lie from the pits of hell. The skills, the knowledge, the talent, the expertise, the degrees, the credentials, the certifications that you already have are valuable. And it's often just your ability to articulate its value that's really holding you back in your career. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to close that gap of articulation so that you can really make more money and have more impact. And the first skill set that I really want to dive into is your ability to market and communicate a message, right? So many of you are the primary communicators in your family, right? You're the one who sends the family email about the family reunion. You're the one who keeps all of the calendar appointments and communicates with all the stakeholders, like the dentist and the doctor and the therapist and the house cleaner and the cousins about upcoming events. You write the newsletters for work. You leverage communication strategy in your everyday work, right? So many of you are excellent communicators, but maybe that communication skill set that you have isn't really valued by your family. It isn't really valued at work. And so you think that it's not valuable in the marketplace. But the truth is your ability to communicate messages to key stakeholders, whether that's your group of cousins or, investors in your current organization, your ability to communicate important messages to stakeholders is a skill. It's a transferable skill that you already have. And a big part of my work as a mentor is to help you learn how to speak to that skill set in a more impactful way, right? Your ability to effectively and intentionally communicate to key stakeholders, again, it's a skill that you already have, but working through how you translate that in the way you talk about your work and in the way that you communicate that level of expertise in your resume, in your cover letter, on LinkedIn, and in interviews is the difference to help you move from where you are to where you want to be. And what's truth is that a lot of you are already developing newsletters or blogs or, a series of emails in your everyday work, right? These are skills that you already have. But you can't just say in a job interview for a 6-level role, I'm good at writing emails, right? You need to be able to talk about the impact of the communications that you draft, the impact of the communications that you build so that an employer can not just see you as someone who can write emails, but someone that can effectively communicate a message to key stakeholders to get them to take action, right? That's the way that you should be talking about that skill set. That's the way that you should be talking about your work. And that's the way you should be talking about this highly transferable skill that you already have. So the first skill that we're talking about is developing marketing communications for programs, events, right? Chances are you've written a flyer before. Chances are you've wrote a newsletter or wrote a series of emails to get people to drive them to action, to buy something or to RSVP for an event or the like, right? Your ability to communicate to key stakeholders is a skill. And I really want to invite you to stop downplaying it, right? Just because maybe you're communicating to your church family and not, in a multi-billion-dollar company doesn't mean it's not a skill that's highly valuable. And often, again, the world is telling high-achieving professional women that the skills, the knowledge, the talent, the expertise isn't enough that you already have, right? So you have to go get another degree. You have to go get another credential. You got to get some, Google certification to prove that you've done something, but that's simply not true. Your skill set around communication, around writing newsletters, around writing series of emails, around blogging, around communicating important messages to key stakeholders is a skill that's highly sought after in the marketplace, right? This is a six-figure skill. And no longer do I want to see you downplaying it or pretending it doesn't matter. What I want to help you do is learn how to articulate it in a way that's going to help you make more money and have more impact in your career. And so if you've ever written a blog, if you've ever written a newsletter, if you've ever written a series of emails, whether it was for your youth group, for your, children's Bible study group that you were commanding through your faith-based organization, or whether it was through, a work obligation that you had, your ability to articulate and drive people to action towards communication is a highly sought after skill that employers will pay top dollar for, right? The work that we can do together is really helping you speak to that skill set in a way that's actually going to make employers take notice. No longer in our resume, in our cover letter, can we just say, oh, I write emails, or I'm a strong communicator. We really need to be able to speak to the value of our ability to communicate and how our ability to communicate stands out among other communicators who might be applying for jobs that we're looking for, right? So number one is your ability to market and communicate a message to an audience, right? Each one of you have done that. Each one of you have had to do that. And the work that we can do together is really helping you think through how to articulate the value of your ability to communicate as an important standout skill set for eligible employers. So next up is public speaking, right? And I think this is one that a lot of people feel like this is a gap area for them or this is a weakness for them. But I think some of you are better public communicators than you realize, right? You communicate on your kids' PTA, you communicate to your partner, you communicate, in the local, housing association that you live within, right? Your ability to publicly speak to an issue, publicly speak to training, right? Maybe you're training new employees on the job, right? Your ability to publicly speak to your expertise, to publicly speak to driving an action home for getting something done is a skill, right? And I think oftentimes when people think about public speaking as a skill, they think about standing in front of audiences and oratoring, or having an oratory, speech in front of thousands of people on a stage. But most public speaking at work is speaking to a room of 5 or 7 people, right? Like most public speaking at work is convincing 2 or 3 people to drive action on a specific topic, right? Most public speaking as it relates to work is not speaking in front of thousands, it's speaking in front of 3, right? So your ability to speak in front of an audience to drive them to a specific action is the only level of public speaking that you really need to have in most organizations for most jobs. And so instead of thinking, I just spoke to the PTA, or, I just spoke at our homeowners association, or, I just spoke, to the youth in my church's youth group, I want you to start to think about the fact that when you speak, you add value to the rooms that you're in, you're adding expertise to the rooms that you're in, and you're likely shifting those audiences to take action in a way that you want them to take action, right? Maybe for you, it's getting audience to, you're speaking to get them to consider a new topic or consider a new pathway. Maybe you're speaking to introduce a new strategy to them, right? But your ability to speak to people and to invite them into a new perspective, invite them to change their mind, invite them to consider a new pathway is a skill around public speaking. And instead of minimizing to say just because you haven't spoken on stages to thousands doesn't mean that you can't speak and use your voice in a meaningful way. And so skills around being able to engage stakeholders, being able to tell a story, being able to change people's hearts and minds with the way you talk about the work that you do. That is a skill set. And likely that's a skill set that you already have, right? And maybe you don't see it like that. Maybe you haven't been visioning it like that, but it is a skill likely that you already have. And so instead of minimizing just because you haven't spoken on, the largest stages doesn't mean that you don't have a skill around public speaking. And it's a highly transferable and highly valuable skill, right? And so again, that skill around, leveraging communication strategies around marketing, communication, whether that's you writing newsletters or writing series of emails or writing blog posts, your ability to publicly speak, right? It doesn't have to be speaking on stages, right? Most work interactions and work public speaking is you speaking to small rooms and teams of people and getting them to drive action in a way that you desire, right? And so I think that often we feel like we have to be the voice for our people. We have to be the voice of our discipline. We have to be the voice, of our area of expertise, but you just need to be able to command an audience. And if that's a skill set you haven't yet mastered, my Mentor Me programs would be a great fit for you, because those are skills that we actively teach in the program so that you can have the skill strong enough to be able to advance your career in the ways that you desire. Again, so, speaking, public speaking is a skill set that you likely already have that we can leverage to help you make more money and have more impact in your career. Leveraging marketing strategies, developing newsletters or series of emails or blog posts, or, writing important emails to get a refund or something. Like, all of those skills are transferable in the marketplace. They're transferable for 6-figure jobs, right? It's about your ability to position that expertise that's really going to help an employer take notice. The next skill that I want to talk about, the next transferable skill that I want to really dive into is supervision, right? And whether you were supervising volunteers, or whether you were supervising a small staff, or whether you were supervising just 1 or 2 people, your ability to supervise and lead people, to help people onboard and integrate into an organization and learn a new skill and provide them with direction and support is a highly sought after skill. I often see women who are the key trainers for their unit or for their department. Every time a new person starts, they're the primary trainer. They're the person who they send them to because you know more than anyone, and they want you to onboard and train every new staff member. But when it comes to being able to talk about your supervision skills, you completely forget that and you say, well, I don't have any supervision skills. I've never supervised anybody. I can't speak to that skill set. But that's simply not true, right? It's simply not true. You already have the transferable skill. Your ability to lead people, to drive them toward action, to teach them something new, to onboard them, to train them, to direct them, to provide them with feedback and correction are things that you already know how to do, right? It's your articulation of how you know how to do it. You just saying, I helped out with volunteers or I helped with onboarding isn't going to help you command the kind of salary that you really want, right? Being the help, being, a person who helped out isn't going to command the kind of salary that you're looking for. But once we shift from I helped to I led, once we shift from I helped to I directed, once we shift from I helped to I supported, right? Like once we shift our articulation or our ability to speak to the impact and outcomes of our work, then we're not seen as someone who helped out or someone who's an add-on to someone else's leadership, but we're seen as the leader themselves, right? And so again, it's not that you don't have these skills. I think oftentimes when we talk about transferable skills, it's like, oh, I need to get some transferable skills. No. You already have the skill, right? You already have the skill. You have the ability to lead people. Maybe they were just volunteers, or maybe you only led them for 6 months, or maybe it was a short-term contract, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the valuable skill of leadership and supervising and training and onboarding and directing a team. It may be that we just need to package that expertise in a way that's really going to help you stand out in a competitive marketplace, right? And so again, if yes, Ashley, you're right. I do have some skills. I have done some public speaking, even in small settings. And yes, Ashley, I have done some, communication works, written, series of emails, or, leverage communication to get people to take an action. And yeah, Ashley, you're right. I have led led and supervised teams. They were small. I didn't really think they mattered, but you're right. I have done that work. If this is starting to help you uncover some of the transferable skills that you already have, this means that you would be a great fit for my mentorship programs, because those are then going to help you take these transferable skills that you're starting to uncover and actually learn how to speak to them in a way that's really going to make employers take notice. Speak to them at a higher level. Speak to them in a way that's really going to drive action in your job search, right? So we've talked about public speaking. We've talked about marketing and communications. We've talked about supervising volunteers or members. And the last skill, the last transferable skill that so many of you already have that we're going to talk about is the skill set around client relations or customer service. Right. So I often tell the story that my very first job, right, literally the day after I turned 16, I went to McDonald's and was like, I want a job. They were like, fill out this application. And shortly after I was hired, McDonald's still remains one of my favorite jobs that I've ever had. Probably the favorite job I ever had. Why? Because it was easy to onboard. It was easy to train. They fed me every shift. And it was like clockwork. It was like, do this, do this, do this. It was a lot of structure. It was a lot of regulations. I love rules. I love policies. I love systems. And McDonald's is a well-oiled machine, right? My ability to say, hi, may I help you? My ability to press the Coke machine, my ability to, get the ice cream to customers when the shake machine was working, my ability to get those Big Macs out in a timely manner is my first, but some of my best customer service experience. And I take that high impact customer service strategy into every job that I've ever had. And so from senior director to, a cashier in McDonald's, from, making, $6.25 an hour to having a 6-figure plus salary, I've been able to leverage my customer service skills, right? And I think that so often we downplay those early customer service jobs. Maybe you were working in retail. Maybe you, like me, were working in fast food. Maybe you were working at the local car wash, who knows? But I think often we just downplay those customer service skills, but your ability to gain customer trust, gain customer buy-in, get them to purchase, maybe even to upsell, get them to be a repeat customer is a skill set. And it's one that you likely already have, right? This is not something you have to go out and get an MBA for, right? Your ability to manage clients and customers and get them to take action, to buy, to upsell, to come back, to speak positively about their experience with you. This is a skill. Right. And yes, of course, to get the $130,000 salary increase that you're, $130,000 salary that you're looking for. Yeah, we can't just be like, well, I used to work at McDonald's and I'm great at customer service. We really need to be able to articulate the value of the outcomes that we were driving, even in our minimal customer service jobs. But it doesn't mean that it can't drive the kind of salary that you're actually looking for. And so I really want to invite you to think about the skills that you already have, right? One of the things that I am always worried about is that women are constantly being told by society that they're not enough, that we're not enough, we don't have enough, we don't do enough, the work that we've done isn't enough. And so if no other voice on the internet, if no other voice you listen to is here to tell you, I'm here to tell you that the skills, the knowledge, the talent, the expertise, the degrees, the credentials, the certifications, the years of experience that you already have are valuable and they are transferable. My job as a mentor is to help you learn how to transition them to higher level, higher paying roles. And if you want that kind of support, I'm excited to share that I'm accepting new mentees. I'm accepting new mentees right now. So I want to invite you to join the Mentor Me Accelerator program today. You can do so right on my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. Schedule a call with me today. My availability on my calendar is updated. To get the support that you need, again, you can go right to my website at mentor-me.org to schedule that free call with me so we can talk about what's going on in your career. We can talk about what's working well, where you're challenged, and how I can support you in advancing your career. Again, go right to my website to schedule at mentor-me.org. I look forward to serving you and supporting you and leveraging the transferable skills that you already have. Talk soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.